The small probe moved silently through space. Daeho watched its progress on his private screen, away from the main command center. No one knew what he had done. If they found out, he would lose his job. Maybe worse. "Come on," he whispered to the probe. "Show me what's out there." His communicator beeped. It was Jia-Yun again. "Daeho, I'm tracking your probe." "Risky move. I can help guide it past Vorithian sensor nets, sending old patrol patterns now." Daeho smiled. Jia-Yun was risking her job too. But she believed him. That was enough. For 6 hours, the probe moved deeper into what used to be Vorithian space. Nothing unusual appeared. Daeho began to doubt himself. Maybe he was wrong. Then the probe sent back an image that made his blood freeze. A massive shipyard floated in the darkness. Dozens of warships under construction. New designs, bigger than anything in the war. The Vorithians had not been defeated. They had been building. Daeho downloaded all the data to his personal device. He had to show Admiral Jun right away. Just as he was about to send the message, the door to his quarters slid open. Han-Gil stood there with 2 security officers. "Commander Kim," Han-Gil said coldly, "you are confined to quarters until further notice." "What? Why?" Daeho asked, hiding his device behind his back. "We detected an unauthorized probe launch." "Your probe?" Han-Gil stepped forward. "You have violated Alliance protocols and entered foreign territory without permission." One of the security officers took Daeho's communicator. The other searched the room. "Sir, please listen," Daeho said urgently. "The probe found something. The Vorithians are building warships. Dozens of them." "Enough," Han-Gil shouted. "Your obsession ends now. You are relieved of duty. Transport will take you back to Earth next week." After they left, Daeho sat on his bed, head in his hands. They had taken his communicator but missed the data device hidden in his boot. The evidence was safe, but useless if he couldn't send it. Meanwhile, on Earth, Jia-Yun stared at her screen in horror. The probe had sent data to her too, before it was destroyed by something. The Vorithian ships were massive, built for invasion. She sent an urgent message to Admiral Jun, bypassing normal channels. Admiral Jun Lee sat alone in his office, looking at the images from the probe. His face was grim. 20 years in the Alliance, and he had never seen ships like these. He tried to contact Alliance High Command, but his call was blocked. "I'm sorry, Admiral," his assistant said. "High Command is in peace talks with the Vorithian representatives. They left orders not to be disturbed." "Peace talks," Jun whispered. "While they build these monsters." He made a decision. He sent the images to Daeho's station with his highest security clearance. Let them see the truth. Back on Sentinel-9, Daeho was trying to find a way to contact someone, anyone who would listen. Then his computer screen came to life. Admiral Jun's face appeared. "Commander Kim, this is a recorded message. Your probe data reached me. You were right. But political forces don't want to hear it. Peace is popular. War preparation is not." Daeho moved closer to the screen. "I'm sending you the clearance to access emergency protocols. Get this information to all Alliance worlds, not just Command. The people need to know." The message ended. A file appeared with the highest security codes in the Alliance. Outside the station, in the cold darkness of space, a small ship appeared. Then another. Vorithian scout vessels, moving slowly, testing the borders. Waiting. The war had never truly ended. And now, only one human knew how close it was to starting again. 2 weeks passed. The Ghost Fleet grew to 47 ships, each one painted black with no running lights, each one crewed by a mix of species, all trained by Sangmen in human battle tactics. Daeho stood on the bridge of the Haida, looking at the fleet spread out before him. Small compared to what the Alliance had lost. But it was all they had. "Fleet is ready, Commander," Tavik said from his station. The blue alien had become Daho's trusted second-in-command. Jai-Yun, what's our target? Daho asked. Jai-Yun looked up from her screens. The Vorithian command ship has been located near Proxima Station. It's directing the attacks on that whole sector. Their command ship, Daho said thoughtfully. The head of the snake. He pulled up old images from Earth's history, ancient Korean naval battles, where smaller ships had defeated larger forces through clever tactics. We'll use Admiral Yu's turtle ship formation, Daho announced. Sangmin, is your strike team ready? Sangmin nodded. Ready and waiting. 20 fighters, 5 species, all trained in Earth combat styles. The Vorithians won't know what hit them. All ships, move to position, Daho ordered. Radio silence from now on. Old Earth signals only. The Ghost Fleet moved into position, forming a pattern no Alliance commander would recognize. Ships positioned in ways that seemed random, inefficient, but Daho knew better. As they approached Proxima Station, they saw the massive Vorithian command ship. It was huge, 3 times the size of any Alliance vessel. Around it, smaller Vorithian ships moved in perfect formation. They're still using standard attack patterns, Jai-Yun noted. My algorithm was right. They studied our official tactics but don't understand how humans really fight. Launch the decoys, Daho ordered. Small unmanned ships shot forward, broadcasting fake Alliance signals. The Vorithian fleet turned to attack them, breaking their perfect formation. Now, Daho shouted. The Ghost Fleet attacked from all sides at once. They moved in ways that made no sense to the Vorithians. Some ships flew directly at the enemy, then veered away at the last second. Others attacked from below, from angles no Alliance ship would use. On the Vorithian command ship, alarms sounded. What are they doing? The Vorithian commander demanded. This is not in the Alliance battle manuals. Unknown, Commander, an officer replied. They're using tactics we've never seen. Back on the Haida, Daho watched as the plan worked. The Vorithian ships, confused by the unpredictable movements, began firing in all directions. They're shooting at each other, Tavik said in amazement. Phase 2, Daho ordered. Sangmin, go. Sangmin's team launched in small, fast ships. They slipped past the confused Vorithian defense and attached to the hull of the command ship. Inside the Vorithian command ship, no one noticed the small team cutting through the hull. They were too busy trying to understand the chaotic battle outside. Sangmin led his team through the ship, using hand signals instead of radio. They moved like shadows, taking down Vorithian guards silently. Meanwhile, the Ghost Fleet continued its bizarre attack patterns. 3 Vorithian ships were already destroyed, with minimal losses to the human-led fleet. Keep them distracted, Daho said. Sangmin needs more time. On the command ship, Sangmin's team reached the main control room. They burst in, using weapons the Vorithians had never seen before. Old-style Earth guns that used physical bullets, not energy beams. Within minutes, they had control of the ship. Command ship secured. Sangmin's voice came over the old Earth radio. You won't believe what we found, Daho. They have data on human military history, but they misunderstood everything. What do you mean? Daho asked. They studied our wars, but they thought our tactics were primitive, not worth copying. They never realized that unpredictability was our strength. Across Alliance space, news spread quickly. The Vorithian command ship had fallen to human tactics. For the first time since the war began, hope returned. The small maintenance vessel limped toward Earth. It was not built for long travel, and definitely not for the 20 people crowded inside. After 8 days, they finally reached Earth's defense perimeter. Earth Defense Force, this is Commander Daho Kim, formerly of Sentinel Mine. Daho said into the communication system, requesting emergency landing. Commander Kim, came the reply. Land at Base 7. Someone is waiting for you. When the ship landed, Jai-Yun Park was there. Her face showed relief when she saw Daho, but quickly turned serious. "The situation is bad," she said as they walked quickly through the base. 17 Alliance worlds have been attacked. Our defense systems can't detect the Vorithian ships until they're right on top of us. "What about Admiral June?" Daho asked. "Fighting a political battle. The Alliance Council still wants peace talks, even now." Jai-Yun shook her head in disbelief. "But he has something to show you." She led Daho and the Sentinel Mine survivors to a large hangar. Inside was a ship unlike any Alliance vessel. It was smaller, sleeker, with unusual engine configurations. "This is the HFY," Jai-Yun said proudly. "Earth's experimental vessel, not registered with the Alliance fleet." Admiral June walked toward them from the ship. He looked tired but determined. "Commander Kim," he said, shaking Daho's hand firmly. "Your warning saved lives, even if the Council ignored it. We need you now more than ever." "Sir, what's the plan?" Daho asked. "The Alliance fleet is being destroyed. They're using standard battle formations against an enemy that knows all our tactics." June looked at the HFY. "We need something the Vorithians haven't studied. Something unpredictable." "Human tactics," Daho said, understanding. "Exactly." June turned to Jai-Yun. "What did you find in the signal patterns?" Jai-Yun pulled up data on a nearby screen. "The Vorithians studied our official Alliance battle manuals, but they know nothing about Earth's military history before we joined the Alliance. We fight like our ancestors," Daho said, thinking out loud. "Like no one in space has fought for centuries." "I've called in help," June said. A door opened, and a man walked in. He was tall, with the same military bearing as Daho. "Commander Kim, meet Sang-min, former Korean Special Forces, expert in unconventional warfare." Sang-min nodded at Daho. "I heard what you did at Sentinel Mine. Improvising mining charges as weapons. Old school. I like it." "We need more than one ship," Daho said, looking at the HFY. "Already working on that," Jai-Yun said. "We've located 30 retired Alliance vessels, ships considered too old for service." "Perfect," Daho said. "The Vorithians won't have data on outdated ships." "There's more," Jai-Yun continued. "I discovered the Vorithians can detect our standard communication frequencies, but they don't monitor old Earth radio bands. A communication network they can't hear," Daho said, smiling for the first time in days. Sang-min stepped forward. "I've been training mixed species teams in Earth guerrilla tactics. The Alliance soldiers think our methods are primitive, but primitive is exactly what we need." Admiral June looked at the 3 Koreans. "Can this work? Can human tactics turn the tide?" "The Vorithians expect the Alliance to fight like the Alliance," Daho said. "They don't expect us to fight like humans." A message came through on the emergency channel. The Alliance flagship had been destroyed. The Council was in chaos. "Admiral," the message continued, "the Council is requesting Earth's assistance. They're asking specifically for the human approach to combat." June looked at Daho, Jai-Yun, and Sang-min. "Well, they're about to get it." Outside the hangar, crews were already working on the old ships, painting them black to blend with space, modifying their engines for maneuvers no Alliance pilot would attempt. The Ghost Fleet was being born, and at its heart, 3 humans with the weight of the galaxy on their shoulders. 1 month after taking the Vorithian command ship, the Alliance had pushed back. 20 worlds had been freed, but the war was far from over. On the HFY, Daho, Jai-Yun, and Sang-min studied a map of Vorithian space. In the center was their main shipyard, the one Daho's probe had discovered months ago. "This is where we need to strike," Daho said, pointing to the shipyard. "Cut off their ability to build more ships." "It's heavily defended," Sang-min noted. 6 defense stations, thousands of ships. Jai-Yun looked up from her computer. "I've been analyzing the data from the command ship. The Vorithians have a command bunker here, near the shipyard. Their leadership is there." 2 targets, Daho said thoughtfully. both heavily defended. We can't hit both, Tavik said, shaking his head. Even with the Ghost Fleet at full strength, it would be suicide. Daeho smiled. What did Admiral Yi do when faced with too many enemies, Sangmin? He made them fight themselves, Sangmin answered with a grin. The plan was set. The Ghost Fleet would split into 3 groups. Daeho would lead the main attack on the shipyard. Sangmin would take a strike team to the command bunker. Jia-Yun would coordinate from a hidden position, using her hacking skills to disrupt Vorithian communications. As the fleet prepared, the Alliance Council held an emergency meeting. We should sue for peace now, one representative argued. We've shown strength. We can negotiate from a position of power. The Vorithians will just rebuild and attack again, Admiral Jun countered. We must end this completely. By following the humans' plan. Another representative scoffed. A plan that could destroy everything we've gained. A plan that might save us all, Jun said firmly. The vote was close, but in the end, the council gave reluctant approval. The attack would proceed. The Ghost Fleet moved silently toward Vorithian space, using the stealth techniques Jia-Yun had developed. No running lights, no standard energy signatures, just black ships in the blackness of space. All ships in position, Tavik reported. Begin Phase 1, Daeho ordered. Small drones launched from the Ghost Fleet. Each one broadcast fake signals, making them appear as Alliance battleships. The Vorithian defense forces scrambled to meet this apparent major attack. They're taking the bait, Jia-Yun's voice came over the radio. Defenses are moving to intercept the drones. Sangmin, you're clear to move, Daeho said. Sangmin's small ship detached from the fleet, heading toward the command bunker with his strike team. They used the confusion to slip past the outer defenses. Meanwhile, Daeho led the main fleet toward the shipyard. As they approached, he gave an order that surprised even his own crew. All ships power down engines. Drift approach. The ships cut engines, using only minimal power to steer. They drifted toward the shipyard like dead vessels. Vorithian sensors are designed to detect powered ships, Daeho explained. They look for engine signatures, not cold metal. It worked. The Ghost Fleet drifted past the outer defenses without being detected. At the command bunker, Sangmin's team fought their way inside. They moved through the complex using tactics from Earth's ancient special forces. Quick, silent, deadly. They reached the main chamber and found something unexpected. The Vorithian Supreme Commander stood waiting for them. I knew you would come, humans, the Supreme Commander said. Your tactics are unpredictable. That makes you dangerous. Surrender, Sangmin demanded, weapon raised. I think not. The Supreme Commander pressed a button, and hidden doors opened. Dozens of Vorithian soldiers appeared. At the same moment, alarms blared across the shipyard. The Ghost Fleet had been discovered. All ships, power up and attack. Daeho ordered. The plan had changed. Now it was a fight for survival. As battle erupted in both locations, Daeho received a message from the Vorithian Supreme Commander. Commander Kim, I would speak with you, human to Vorithian, before more die needlessly. Daeho looked at the message, wondering what trap lay behind it. But something in the wording caught his attention. Needlessly, he whispered. Why would they consider these deaths needless? Daeho studied the security codes Admiral Jun had sent. With these, he could send a message to every Alliance world at once. But first, he needed to get out of his locked quarters. He heard a soft knock at his door. Strange. The security lock clicked open, and Tavik slipped inside. Commander Kim, Tavik whispered, his 4 eyes darting nervously. I reviewed your probe data. The images Admiral Jun sent to the station. Those ships, they are war vessels. You believe me now? Daeho asked, surprised. My people fought the Vorithians before yours joined the war. I know their ships. Tavik handed Daeho a key card. This will get you to the command center. I cannot do more. "Thank you," Daho said. Tavik nodded once and left. Using the key card, Daho moved through empty hallways to the command center. It was the middle of night shift. Only one officer was there, and they were asleep. Daho worked quickly, uploading all the probe data and Admiral Jun's message. He added his own warning, then used the security codes to bypass all filters. The message would go to every Alliance planet, every ship, every station. "Transmission complete," the computer announced, too loudly. The officer woke up. "Commander Kim, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be confined." Daho raised his hands. "It's done. The warning is sent." Within hours, the Alliance Council called an emergency meeting. Representatives from all 50 member worlds gathered virtually. The images of Vorithian warships were displayed for all to see. "These images are concerning," said the Palaxian representative. "But we must be careful not to overreact." "Overreact?" Admiral Jun shouted from Earth's seat. "They have built a fleet that could destroy half our worlds." "Perhaps," said the Meridian leader, "this is merely their defensive fleet. We should increase diplomatic outreach. They are preparing for war." Jun slammed his fist down. "We must ready our defenses." The council voted. By a large majority, they chose diplomatic action over military preparation. Peace was too comfortable to give up. On Sentinel-9, Daho was back in confinement, but now with 2 guards outside his door. Han Gil was furious. "You have created panic across 50 worlds," Han Gil said. "For what?" "Ships that might be for defense. Ships that might not even be operational." "You know what they are," Daho said quietly. On Earth, Jai-Yun worked through the night. Something about the Vorithian signals bothered her. She ran them through every analysis program she had. "No," she whispered as the truth became clear. "They found a way to hide." She sent an urgent message to Daho and Admiral Jun. The Vorithians had developed technology to mask their energy signatures. Their ships could move undetected by Alliance systems. The message reached Admiral Jun first. He ordered immediate sensor upgrades, but the Council overruled him. The cost was too high for an unproven threat. The message never reached Daho. All his communications were blocked. Sentinel-9 received a final message from Alliance Command. "Station is to stand down from alert status. Commander Kim is to be transported to Earth for psychological evaluation. Any further unauthorized communications will be considered acts against Alliance peace." That night, as the station slept, 3 border outposts went silent. No distress calls, no warnings. They simply disappeared from Alliance networks. The first Vorithian strike had begun, exactly as Daho had feared. In his quarters, Daho heard alarms begin to sound. Distant at first, then closer. Running footsteps in the hallway. Shouting. The door to his quarters slid open. It was Lorne, the science officer who had never believed him. "Commander," Lorne said, his voice shaking. "You were right. They're here. 3 outposts gone. Alliance Command is not responding." "And Sentinel-9?" Daho asked, already knowing the answer. "Where next?" Daho made his decision. "Tavik, hold the fleet in position. I'm going to meet the Vorithian Supreme Commander." "Commander, it could be a trap," Tavik warned. "Maybe. But something isn't right here." Daho took a small ship and headed for the command bunker. When he arrived, Sang Min's team had been surrounded but not harmed. The Vorithian soldiers kept their weapons ready but had not fired. The Vorithian Supreme Commander stood tall in the center of the room. 4 arms, gray skin, eyes that seemed to glow in the dim light. "Commander Kim," the Vorithian said, voice deep and rumbling. "You have caused us much trouble." "You started this war," Daho replied, standing firm. "You built a secret fleet while pretending to want peace." "Yes," the Supreme Commander nodded. "Because we discovered what humans truly are." The Vorithian pressed a button, and a screen appeared. It showed images of Earth's history, wars, battles, conflicts spanning thousands of years. Your species fights constantly, adapts, evolves new ways to win. The Vorithian pointed at Daho. Our intelligence showed that humans were preparing to take control of the Alliance, to remake it in your image. Daho was shocked. That's not true. Earth wants peace. Perhaps you do. But we saw your military history, your endless wars, your rise to power in the Alliance despite being newcomers. The Supreme Commander's eyes narrowed. We attacked first because we believed you would attack us. In that moment, Daho understood. The Vorithians had studied human history but missed its context. They saw only the conflicts, not the peace between. They saw human adaptability as a threat, not a strength. You misunderstood us, Daho said. Humans fight, yes. But we also build. We create. We make peace. Your actions in this war say otherwise. The Supreme Commander countered. Your ghost fleet. Your unpredictable tactics. You fight like no species we have ever faced. We fight to protect, not conquer, Daho said. If we wanted to rule the Alliance, we would have done it long ago. A message came through from Jai-Yun. Daho, I've hacked their data network. They'd been monitoring Alliance communications for years. They genuinely believed Earth was planning to take over. Daho looked at the Supreme Commander. You were afraid of us. Yes, the Vorithian admitted. Your kind terrifies us. For a long moment, Daho was silent. Then he made a decision that would change the galaxy forever. I propose a new treaty, he said. Not between the Alliance and the Vorithian Empire, but between all our peoples. A treaty built on understanding, not fear. 3 days later, the fighting stopped across all fronts. The Alliance Council was outraged that Daho had negotiated directly with the enemy, breaking all protocols. But they could not argue with the results. A month passed. The new treaty created a joint security force with members from all species, including Vorithians. Daho was chosen to lead it, with Sang-Min training mixed species teams in combined tactics. Jai-Yun developed a shared security network that used both Alliance and Vorithian technology, creating something new and stronger. Admiral Jun addressed the council. This peace was made possible by human adaptability, the very thing the Vorithians feared. But now, they see it as a strength we all share. Tavik, now an official diplomat, wrote a famous account of the conflict. Its title spread across the galaxy. They thought the war was over. Then came the human. On a distant space station, Daho stood with the Vorithian Supreme Commander, watching ships from all worlds travel freely through space. You know, Daho said, there are other threats out there, beyond known space. Yes, the Supreme Commander agreed. But they will think twice before attacking any world where humans serve as protectors. Daho smiled. They thought the war was over. They were right, but not in the way anyone expected. Across the galaxy, other alien civilizations watched the humans with new respect. And just a little fear. Asterisk asterisk. The end asterisk asterisk. 3 days passed since Daho saw this strange energy spike. He could not stop thinking about it. Each night after his shift, he stayed up late studying the signal. Computer, show me all sensor data from the past week, Daho said, rubbing his tired eyes. The computer displayed rows of numbers and charts. Most people would see nothing special, but Daho had fought in the war. He knew what to look for. There it was again, small energy spikes, coming every 12 hours. Too regular to be natural. Too careful to be noticed by standard scans. Daho pulled out his personal communicator. It was old from before he joined the Alliance. He typed a message and sent it across the stars to Earth. Jai-Yun, I need your help. Sending data packet. This looks like old Vorithian code to me. Tell me I'm not crazy. Jai-Yun Park had been in his unit during the war. She was the best code breaker in the Korean Space Force. If anyone could confirm his fears, it was her. The next morning, Tavik found Daho asleep at his station. "Commander, you should rest properly," Tavik said, concerned. "What are you doing here so early?" Daho straightened up quickly. "Just checking something." "You are still worried about that energy reading?" Tavik asked. "The Alliance says it was nothing." "The Alliance is wrong," Daho said firmly. Lorne entered the command center, carrying his breakfast. "The human is still hunting ghosts, I see." Daho ignored the comment. His communicator beeped. Jai Yun had answered. "Excuse me," he said, walking to a private corner. The message was short, not crazy. "This is definitely Vorithian battle code. Old style, from early war days. They're talking to each other, Daho. Coordinates attached. Be careful." Daho's heart raced. He was right. The Vorithians were out there, communicating in secret, planning something. He went straight to the main communication panel. "Open a channel to Admiral Junli." "That requires authorization," the computer said. "Override code Kim 7 to 93 Alpha." Admiral Jun's face appeared on the screen. He looked annoyed. "Commander Kim, this is unexpected." "Sir, I have proof the Vorithians are active again in Sector 42B. I've had the signal analyzed by Earth Defense." Jun frowned. "You went outside official channels." "I had to, sir. No one would listen." Jun was silent for a moment. "Send me what you have. You have 72 hours to find concrete evidence. After that, drop it. That's an order." The screen went dark. It wasn't much, but it was something. As Daho turned around, he found Hangil, the station chief, standing behind him. Hangil's face was hard with anger. "You contacted Earth Defense directly. And now Admiral Jun." Hangil's voice was cold. "You have overstepped, Commander Kim. The signal is real," Daho insisted. "The Vorithians are out there." Hangil stepped closer. "The Alliance needs peace. Do you understand? The people need to believe the war is over. Your theories threaten that peace. Real peace comes from truth, not comfortable lies," Daho said. "You have 72 hours. Then I want you to stop this nonsense." Hangil turned to leave, then stopped. "And if you contact Earth again without permission, I will have you removed from this station." Alone again, Daho looked at his datapad. The Vorithian signals were getting stronger, more frequent. Whatever they were planning, it was happening soon. He needed more proof, something even Hangil couldn't ignore. He pulled up the station's probe inventory. There was one small scout probe left. It wasn't much, but it might be enough. "Computer, prepare probe launch sequence," Daho said quietly, "and delete this command from the log." If the Alliance wouldn't look for the truth, he would find it himself, even if it cost him everything. The small probe launch bay opened silently. No alarm sounded. No one noticed as the tiny machine slipped into the darkness, heading toward Vorithian space. Toward war. The first blast hit Sentinel-9 without warning. The station shook violently. Lights flickered and alarms screamed throughout every level. "Battle stations." Hangil's voice came over the speakers. "This is not a drill." Daho ran to the command center with Lorne. The scene was chaos. Officers from all species rushed about, many looking lost and confused. Peace had made them forget war. A second blast hit, stronger than the first. Hangil was thrown across the room, hitting the wall hard. Blood pooled around his head. "Hangil is down." Someone shouted. "Who's in command?" All eyes turned to Daho. He was the only one with real battle experience. "Get Hangil to medical," Daho ordered. "Tavik, open all emergency channels." "Lorne, what's our shield status?" "Shield's at 40% and falling," Lorne reported, his hands shaking on the controls. The main screen showed 3 Vorithian warships approaching. Sleek, black ships with weapons that glowed green with energy. "They'll tear us apart," Tavik said, fear in his voice. Daho studied the screen carefully. No, their formation is too tight. They're expecting us to run or surrender. What else can we do? Asked an officer. Fight, Daho said simply, but not like they expect. He turned to the weapons officer. Do we still have those old mining charges in storage bay 4? The officer checked her screen. Yes, 12 of them. Load them into launch tubes 1 through 12. Set them to proximity detonation. Those aren't weapons, Lorne protested. They are now, Daho said. He moved to the navigation console. Prepare for emergency maneuver pattern, Kim Alpha 3. That's not in our database, the navigation officer said. It's an old Earth tactic. I'll guide you. Daho took the controls. When I say now, fire all charges and follow my exact course. The Verithian ships moved closer, firing again. The station rocked. Shields at 15%. Lorne shouted. Now, Daho yelled. All 12 mining charges launched at once. At the same moment, Daho pushed the station into a spinning dive, a move no Alliance ship would ever make in battle. The Verithian ships, confused by the unexpected maneuver, shifted course directly into the path of the mining charges. 2 massive explosions lit up space as 2 enemy ships collided with the charges. The 3rd ship is still coming, Tavik reported, and our shields are gone. Daho nodded grimly. Evacuate all personnel to the maintenance vessel. We have 6 minutes. 6 minutes until what? Lorne asked. Until we overload the station's reactor. The crew stared at him in shock. Move now, Daho ordered. That's not a suggestion. As the crew rushed to evacuate, Daho stayed at the command center. He set the station's reactor to overload, then locked the controls with his personal code. 5 minutes later, he joined the others on the small maintenance vessel. It was cramped with the entire station's crew aboard. Is everyone here? Daho asked. All accounted for, Tavik confirmed, except Hangil. He died from his injuries. Daho closed his eyes briefly. Launch now. Maximum speed. As they pulled away from Sentinel Mine, the Verithian warship moved in for the kill. It didn't notice the reactor readings climbing to dangerous levels. The maintenance vessel was just reaching safe distance when Sentinel-9 exploded with blinding light. The blast caught the Verithian ship, tearing it apart. In the silence that followed, the crew looked at Daho with new respect. How did you know that would work? Tavik asked. Human history is full of battles, Daho said quietly. We learn from each one. The ship's communication system crackled to life. Distress calls flooded in from across Alliance space. Planets under attack. Ships destroyed. Defense systems failing. Where do we go now? Lorne asked, his voice small with fear. Daho thought of Jai-Yun on Earth, of Admiral June fighting against politics to prepare defenses. Earth, he said firmly. We go to Earth. Behind them, the remains of Sentinel-9 floated in space, a small victory in what would be a long war. Commander Daho Kim stood at the large window of Sentinel-9, looking out at the stars. 5 years had passed since the end of the Nexus War. 5 years of peace after so much death. The station was quiet today, like most days. Daho was the only human on this space station. The Alliance had put him here, far from Earth at the edge of their space. He was a reminder of the war, a soldier with no war to fight. Commander Kim, you are needed at the command center, said the station's computer. Daho turned away from the window. His dark uniform was clean and pressed, even though no one cared out here. Old habits from his military days on Earth stayed with him. At the command center, 2 aliens waited for him. Tavik, tall and blue-skinned with 4 eyes, handled the station's diplomatic work. Lorne, short with gray scales, was the science officer. Another quiet day, said Tavik, not looking up from his screen. Alliance Command sent a message. They plan to close this station in 3 months. Daho nodded. He had expected this. We still have a job until then. Lorne made a clicking sound with his mouthparts. The war is over, Commander. The Vorithians are defeated. This station watches empty space. The Vorithians lost, but that doesn't mean they're gone, Daho said. The aliens shared a look. Humans were strange to them, always preparing for trouble, even in times of peace. Your species fought well in the war, Tavik said, trying to be kind. But now is the time for peace. Daho didn't answer. He went to his station and began his daily checks. The sensors, the shields, the weapons systems, all working perfectly, all completely unnecessary according to Alliance Command. 3 hours into his shift, something caught his eye. A small energy spike from deep in what used to be Vorithian space. It lasted only 2 seconds before disappearing. Computer, replay sensor data from Sector 42B, time index 1437. The screen showed nothing unusual. Strange, Daho said. I saw something. Lorne came over. The sensors show nothing, Commander. Perhaps your eyes are tired. I know what I saw, Daho said. He adjusted the settings, filtering out background radiation. Computer, enhance and replay. This time, a tiny blip appeared. Almost nothing, but definitely there. See that? Daho pointed. Energy signature. Lorne looked closer. A random fluctuation. Space is full of them. Not like this. Daho had seen this pattern before during the war. This looks like a Vorithian jump drive powering up. Tavik joined them now. The Vorithians were destroyed 5 years ago, Commander. Their fleet was broken. Their homeworld surrendered. I'm sending a report to Alliance Command, Daho said, already typing. 6 hours later, the reply came. Admiral Su from Central Command appeared on screen, looking annoyed. Commander Kim, we have reviewed your report. Our analysis shows no cause for concern. The energy signature is consistent with a micrometeor passing through a radiation field. Sir, with respect, I've seen this pattern before. During the Battle of Nexus Prime, the Vorithians. The war is over, Commander. Admiral Su cut him off. This station will be decommissioned soon. Please focus on your shutdown procedures rather than chasing ghosts. The call ended. Daho sat back in his chair, frustrated. That night, after his shift ended, Daho returned to his quarters. He pulled out an old data pad and began writing his own report, separate from the official one. He mapped the exact location of the energy signature and compared it to old Vorithian patrol routes. The pattern matched perfectly. They're not gone, he whispered to himself. They're waiting. Outside his window, the stars looked cold and distant. Somewhere out there, in the darkness between them, something was moving. Something everyone else had forgotten about. Everyone except the human.